Hi guys, welcome to the Sickass channel. My name's Alexandra Whittingham. Today I'm going to be answering a few questions and giving you some guitar tips, hopefully, because now's the best time to start practicing. Hope you enjoy. My warm-up routine is usually about 10 to 15 minutes, I would say. And then it kind of consists of, it kind of depends whatever I'm going to be practicing, I think, that day. Sometimes it consists of things that might help with certain pieces that I'm going to be practicing. And I get kind of into a bit more of a technique-based warm-up exercise. And then sometimes, usually it just consists of like scales, arpeggios, and then some studies and things like that. So for my right hand, because it gets very cold all the time, my hands are always cold because I have like weird circulation. And for some reason my right hand is a lot more kind of prone to just not working whenever I want to play anything, whether it be like slow pieces or fast pieces. Sometimes it just kind of freezes. So I find that the right hand fingering from the Villa-Lobos Etude No. 1 is kind of, I mean, it's a really like fiddly fingering, but I find that doing that, not necessarily with the left hand yet, because I kind of like to do separate hands first, but I find that doing that kind of separately, so maybe like mute the strings and just, and I kind of mute the strings because it gets very annoying for anybody else who can hear you, and for me, to be honest. It's kind of like, oh, open strings, like not again. So yeah, I kind of do that, and sometimes I'll like accentuate different fingers, so. And it sounds quite cool sometimes when you mute it. You're never used to hearing that sound of a guitar, so it's kind of like, oh, you know, maybe I'll play like this more often. Don't play like that more often. And then left hand, obviously you can add the. It sounds very weird when you start accenting different fingers because you create these like weird syncopated patterns. But yeah, I find that really helpful for sort of gaining a bit more control of your right hand when you're warming up. Yeah, left hand, I tend to just do like scales, so I do mostly 3-octave scales. So I find that practicing those really slowly really helps. I don't tend to start by just playing like, you know, all 3-octave, like brrr, brrr, brrr. So I might start by doing like a slow 3-octave, like dotted rhythm, so. And then you'll do it the other way, so. I also tend to do sometimes like groups of notes, so sometimes I start with that just because when you go straight in it can be quite like, you know, like just woken up, shouldn't be doing this. So, it can kind of give you a bit more, like you settle into it a lot better, as opposed to sort of going like brrr. But I have a bit of a system of the way I work with scales, so when I get into sort of doing the, you know, the whole scale like up and down at a set tempo. So I'll start with E, which, you know, probably a good starting point. E all the way up to B, if I'm feeling adventurous. Sometimes I'll stop at G because, you know, I haven't had enough coffee that morning or something. So I tend to do E major, then E harmonic minor, then E melodic minor, and then chromatic. Sometimes, you know, you can mix it up, but it's always, each one is with a different finger. So all of the scales on E, so those 4 scales, for example, will be with I, M, alternating, all the way up, all the way down. And then I'll do exactly the same on F, but that will be M, A, alternating. F sharp, I usually do I and A. And then when I get to G, it gets a little bit more complicated because, well, this is if I'm feeling adventurous. I like to do I, M, A, M. So if you start on I, you always should really be finishing with A. That's kind of how you know you've done it right, which I find really, really helpful because when you first start to do that, it's really kind of like, oh my God, like which finger should I be on? I've definitely just repeated it, oh my God. But when you get the hang of it, it's so satisfying. Like if you've got like a little bit of your brain that's like a little bit OCD, if you master this scale, it's just, feels great. Thank you for watching part 1 of this set of 3 videos on how to play the classical guitar. The second will be coming out on my channel on Saturday, so make sure you subscribe here and then subscribe there so you don't miss that too. If you'd like to see any future videos of mine early, then I release them all on Patreon before they go on YouTube. So if you'd like to subscribe or are able to, then yeah, we'll put the link down below too.